The books that I read for the last 40 years. Today I have my special guest. She is a doctor, nurse practitioner, and of course, family nurse practitioner as well as a coach, renowned as a doctorate family nurse practitioner and worldwide. No other than Dr. Tara Harding.
Hi.
Welcome on Book
Thank you.
101 Review, Dr. Tara. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, so I am Dr. Tara Harding, and I'm located in Bismarck, North Dakota, in the Midwest. And I have recently expanded my practice because of my own health journey. Everything that I do on a day to day now is because of my own journey, which started with infertility, endometriosis. And I really saw this need for a change in how in healthcare and how patients were treated and how we were approached physically, emotionally, mentally, and a pivot specifically to women's healthcare and as a whole. And so it was after going through lots of testing and years of treatment and not having any answers. I kept being told unexplained, we don't know what's wrong. And I finally had found answers and found my passion and calling to start my own practice. We do virtual healthcare. I also have a coaching business for women's health in general, but I've expanded my clinic from virtual in my basement. I started it to serving 4 states, and we are mental health, men's health. We're full scope family practice, pediatric, mental health, infertility. We try to touch on everything. So we saw a need and we really give our patients time. They get an hour or more for their appointments, and we dig into a blend of Eastern and Western medicine and really just look at them as a whole and allow them to have full control of their health care and what route and journey we take too.
Dr. Tara Harding, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom today. And today, let's talk about the multifaceted experience of infertility. Tell us, for those just starting to share their story, what does emotional landscapes of infertility truly like? How do you describe the roller coaster of hope and disappointment?
You said it best. It's a roller coaster. You go from uncertainty to fear to anxiety to excitement, sometimes all within 5 minutes. But many patients are confused. They don't know why they're going through it, they don't have the diagnoses. A lot of women think it's all them when really over 50% of the time it's also male factor or both of them. And so we often feel as women we're going through this by ourselves. It's very isolating. It's not something we talk about as a common social norm topic. We're not having conversations at social events, Friday supper outings. We're not talking about it enough. So there's this stigma that goes along with infertility that we can't talk about it when really we need to be talking about it more. And often, again, many couples don't have an answer to why they're going through infertility. Then comes treatment. They're not sure what treatment they can go through because of cost. There's a huge cost barrier to this. It is not cheap, even if you're doing very basic treatment to it. So there's a lot of emotional push and tug that goes with that. Do we sell sell a vehicle, a tractor, a motorcycle, a boat just to be able to afford a family? Do we take a second mortgage out on the home just to afford a family because we have no insurance coverage for this? Or do we have to go down other roads? So it's mental, it's physical, it's financial, and all of that compiles into an even bigger emotional roller coaster because we at the end of the day as a couple we want to have a family, we want to be parents, and as women it's very innate in us that this is part of who we are. And when that doesn't happen, it's very very emotional. And so it's not just one thing, it's a lot of things, and it's not having answers a lot of the time as well. We're stuck with failed treatments. Why did this treatment fail? Was it something I did? Should I have ate differently? Should I have really ate that Oreo? Should I have worked out that way? So when you start treatment too, there's more different roller coasters. I always say we're kind of like at an amusement park when we go through infertility. It's what level of adventure and level of roller coaster are we on this week? And it's wondering if I just would have did this differently, if I just would have tried this or did not done this, or maybe, maybe things would have been different. That's not the reality. Many patients just don't have the right diagnoses and the right answer to the why, and therefore they don't have the right treatment or delay in care. So that's just the start of that piece of the emotional roller coaster.
Infertility is often described as an invisible loss. How does lack of tangible grief recognition affect individuals and couples going through it?
Yeah, so loss and trauma is often something we think at as physical, like a loss of a human being, a physical car accident, a tragedy that was very visual. And this is a failed treatment. There's nothing visual really about that except for a negative pregnancy test, which again, that's not something women are just sharing out there in public. If we have a miscarriage, there's this stigma too that goes along with sharing that, and bereavement leave at work and loss. Like, do I take time off? Can I take time off of work for that? I didn't, there wasn't again a death in the family that someone, we didn't know that person. It wasn't a physical person. Yet we are going through as women, as a couple, a lot of emotional loss with that, let alone a lot of physical pain, hormone changes. There's a lot of physical pieces with that loss too. And again, it's just something that as a society, as a culture, we are talking about. We haven't, it's not common to talk about these things. The invisible piece is when an embryo transfer in IVF fails. There's really nothing physical to that again. And let alone if we even told anybody we're going through that, to present and show I had this and I lost this. There's nothing physical to that. So it makes it harder for society to almost recognize too as a loss and understand, let alone if someone's never been through that or experienced that. It's hard to find friends, family, coworkers who can understand what we're going through if they've never been through that. And so I just feel the more that we connect and talk about this and realize how common it actually is, 1 in 6 for infertility, 1 in 4 for miscarriage, we'll soon realize that maybe there are people right beside us at the desk that have been through it that we just didn't know about because we've never talked about it. And the more as our workplaces start to acknowledge these things as well as losses, we can take time off that we need to heal mentally, physically after going through that invisible loss too.
The language around infertility can be incredibly painful. Are the most common yet well intentioned phrase people say they are actually hurtful? And what you should say instead?
Yeah. So a lot of people try to give us what they feel is well intentional advice. And really, my biggest mountaintop statement I have about this, if someone's going through infertility, they have tried absolutely everything. Um, why don't you just quit trying? It'll happen then. Why don't you just adopt? Those are not great at all to say. Again, adoption's very expensive. Not everybody wants to go down that road. Adoption is a beautiful option, we always say, for anybody, not just those with infertility. Adoption's a beautiful gift that anybody can give. It doesn't cure or fix infertility. A lot of people will say, I just got drunk one night and got pregnant. Why don't you try that? Those are just ridiculous things that we know maybe work for you, but they are not cures or fixes to infertility, which is a disease.
Hmm.
People tend to not share they're going through it because they have fear or are worried about what that person might say back with advice for them. They might recommend supplements or try this, try that. I just did this. And again, everyone has their own journey. What they really should say is, how are you doing? What can I do for you? Is there anything you need from me this week? And really leave an open ended question versus producing a statement that's full of what they think might be best or what they think they should try or their best friend or their family member has tried. Those are not helpful statements. It's inquiring, tell me about where you're at, tell me what you've done. Again, how can I be there for you? What do you need from me this week? And just checking in on them now that you know that they've opened that door to share that they're going through infertility. Ask what you could do for them that could best support them and just check in on them and ask how they're doing.
Dr. Tara, how can someone struggling with infertility navigate the profound sense of isolation, especially in a world filled with pregnancy announcements and baby focused social media?
Great question. Yeah. I think number one is first realizing that it's okay. You don't share, it's going to be in your time when you share that, and putting boundaries up. You don't have to go to the birthday party. You don't have to go to the baby shower. You don't have to follow Judy with 5 kids on Instagram and Facebook. Unfollow, mute those accounts. Give yourself permission to take a break from them and know that it's okay to do that. I also share it's okay to have some of those icky thoughts, I call them, about people where you might be like, how come she gets another kid? Really? They're having a fifth kid? We've all had those thoughts. They are totally normal. It does not make you a bad person. That is part of going through infertility. And I like to normalize that the best I can because we often think we're a bad person because we have these thoughts or we don't want to go to this event where there's kids at. No, you have a disease, you are going through something very hard and you might even be in the middle of treatment. The last thing you should be doing is putting yourself in a situation or an environment where a trigger might be that might, or unsupportive comments might be. Give yourself grace to take a break from people, accounts, events, anything that triggers you during this time, because that's the last thing you need, especially if you're going through infertility, is to be put in a situation like that.
Dr. Tara, what are the unexpected ways infertility can impact a person's identity, self worth, and vision for their future?
Yeah, so again, women really have this innate piece of them. Like, we are supposed to be able to have babies. That is who we are, what we're supposed to do. And when that doesn't happen, it really starts to make you question your purpose to some extent too, right? Like, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong in my past that might be causing this now? Everyone around you is starting to have children and they're talking about kid things now. It used to be what's the brand of wine or event this weekend, and it's flipped into children and school conversations. And when you don't have anything in common with people that you used to have the most things in common with, it becomes really hard, and you really question your identity and, like, what are you supposed to be doing? Who are you? What group do you fit into? What friend group now do you fit into when that entire group starts to have kids and you're left out of that? And so or your coworkers even start talking about that. It truly becomes a very hard time. And I always share with patients, this does not define you. You are doing everything that you can in this moment, and that's the best you can do right now. And so it's really finding and expanding that group. And it might be social media. Some of the people I connected with the most when I started my infertility journey, I have never met in person to this day. We were just virtual friends. And so don't think that it has to be an in-person communication. Use a lot of virtual support groups, uh, social media to connect with individuals. Look for hashtags, look for podcasts. Heck, dip into my inbox. I am here for you. It's finding people who have been through it or are going through it, and connecting with them and finding a new group to identify with during this time.
Very well said, Dr. Tara. Beautifully articulated. As a doctor, nurse practitioner, as well as family nurse practitioner and coach, what are your short term and long term goals?
Yeah, if I could help a million women in this lifetime just feel better, from fertility to women's health in general, hormones, just to wake up every day, have a sense of purpose, and feel good while doing what you love to do, what you're passionate about, and have good health while doing that. That would be a great long-term goal. My short-term goal is I'm expanding my services virtually, my speaking platform. I am trying to reach as many women as I can, and we are expanding our clinic as well. So it's just expanding our providers, expanding our services, and expanding our reach so that we can help as many women as we can, and just continue to share the platform and the voice that you're not alone in this journey. There is a community behind you to support you, and that we need to start talking about these topics more that have stigmas attached to them. From mental health to infertility, we have to keep talking about these things in order to break that stigma and barrier down.
Good luck to your goals, Dr. Tara, and looking forward for more success.
Thank you.
And can you please give a piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Yeah. So it's scary. Scary is not easy. Do it anyway. If there's something that is on your heart, pursue it and do what you can. Get the resources, find help. Don't walk alone in any journey or adventure that you're on. And if there is something tugging at your heart and a purpose, trust that it's your purpose and don't stop. Don't let anyone, any words, any comments hold you back from fulfilling your purpose.
Thank you for that piece of advice, Dr. Tara. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, so one of my favorite books when I was going through my infertility journey in the beginning is called Hold On Baby by Lisa White. She's a friend of mine as well. It really helped get my mind in the right direction when I was starting infertility treatments, and kept my focus always forward, and really truly helped me dive into those hard days to go back to that book as a very powerful tool. Again, I believe with many things, and if not all things, our brain and our mind can be very powerful, and it can either take us the good way or the bad way. And so this book was my tool, Hold On Baby, to keep focus on my goal when I was starting my infertility journey.
Thank you for that recommended book, Dr. Tara. And how can someone redefine what hope means when facing the uncertainty of infertility?
Yeah, hope is what's on your heart. Follow that always. Find your heart, find your purpose, and hang on to that always.
Definitely. When it is appropriate to consider a different path, such as using a donor or pursuing surrogacy or adaptation or embracing a child free life, how can someone begin to explore those options without feeling like they are giving up?
Yeah, it's a great question. Only you as a couple or as an individual can decide when it's best. Always be having open conversations with your healthcare team and expand your healthcare team. Don't talk to just one provider or person, especially when making those decisions or options. And again, surround yourself with people who have been there before you, especially the child free space. I think that is not talked about enough. It is not, it is almost has its own stigma attached to it too. And there's tons of great resources out there, great individuals that I myself am even connected with too, that can help you through that decision making. It's not one you're going to make overnight. It's not easy, and it's not a quick decision. I think again we need to be having conversations with multiple healthcare professionals before going down the road that feels right. You will know what road is right. I also tell couples, your what you thought you would never do, you might end up doing. So example, we thought in the beginning we would never do IVF, and we did IVF. So don't rule out those options such as donor and surrogacy and child free, because you never know when your hearts might change. And connecting with others again that have done it is the most powerful tool in the tool belt to help make those decisions.
Dr. Tara, for those who eventually become parents, how does the experience of infertility shape their parenting style or perspective on family?
Yeah, I think everyone loves their child, and everyone's child is a miracle, but when you go down infertility, there's something just a little extra tugging at you. The work you mentally, physically, financially that you had to go through to have that child makes it just a little bit sweeter. I always say there always is a unique bond that we have as parents that have, been through the journey as well, that keeps us on a unique thing. I love meeting children who have been born due to infertility. I love when parents meet if they were going through infertility at the same time and they were connecting socially. So I think there's a unique bond that we have as well. And I think that things are just a little bit sweeter, I say, when you've had to go through that and you get to become a parent after infertility. You cherish moments a little bit differently than you did before as a whole in life, too.
Yes, totally, totally empowering answer, Dr. Tara, and thank you so much for that. Very well said. How do you recommend setting boundaries with family, friends, and coworkers regarding questions about family planning? What does protecting your mental health in this situation look like?
Yeah, so it is very hard to do this. It's even harder if they don't know you're going through it. So I tell patients, please, if you feel you can, share with them what you're going through, because sometimes them just knowing that can avoid and prevent that and be a boundary in itself. I am going through infertility. Here is what I'm going to do or not do because of that. If you are brave enough and feel good enough about saying, if they say something to you that's inappropriate or doesn't make you feel good, telling them that right away is very important as well. And then again, letting them know, I tell patients it's okay to do a little white lie. You don't have to, if you're not ready to share yet and you don't want to go to an event or be around somebody or put yourself in a situation, there's always the I'm sick answer. You can tell them you're sick and that is why you cannot be there. So, again, a little white lie is okay, I think, in infertility, because again, if we're not open about our journey, that's okay. We might not be ready. Being sick will always be the best boundary and get you out of being around something too.
Definitely. And Dr. Tara, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in its fourth season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 is in on fourth season too. Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Dr. Tara, if you could leave our audience with one piece of advice for supporting a loved one waking through infertility, what would it be?
Yeah, my number one advice to support those is be there for them. How are you doing? What can I do for you? Understand that maybe you wouldn't do what they're doing or you might not agree with it, but it's their journey as a individual, as a couple, and respect that journey for them and just be there for them for support versus inserting your thoughts, your opinions. Support can go a long way. How are you doing can go a long way, and just again respecting their boundaries. I think knowing that maybe now for me will help. Maybe if someone listens, I can enforce boundaries for them. Is don't put your personal opinions, thoughts, or messages in there. Put your support and love in there instead.
Dr. Harding or Dr. Tara Harding, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
You
So
are
tell
welcome.
us, yes, tell us, empowering your best life. One of these phrases on your website. Can you expound more?
Yeah. So empowering your best life to me is, what is it you want to do with your time that you have while you're here on this earth? And how can you do that while being well, feeling well, mentally, physically, emotionally? If we are not well physically, it is really hard to show up for our family, our friends, our community, our organizations. And knowing that you need to start putting yourself first, put your health first in order to be the best version of yourself. And it's really hard for women to do that. And so, really putting it back in control, that if how can we show up for our loved ones and for our hobbies and our careers if we are not well ourselves, and to give yourself a chance to be first again and put yourself first again to feel good during doing what you love with your time here.
Feel good indeed. So, Dr. Tara Harding, thank you so much for being part on Book 101 Review. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy or any projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, head over. I love Instagram is where you can find me, Dr. Tara Harding. My podcast and YouTube channel are also Dr. Tara Harding. Just getting the word out there about women's health, infertility, what symptoms are normal, what's not normal. When you don't feel well, you're not well. And to get that second, third, or fourth opinion from a healthcare provider who listens to you, where you feel heard and whole.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Tara Harding because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Dr. Tara, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.